Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Terran News Network, your most trusted source for news in the Terran Republic. Our main story tonight is about the valiant defense of Psi City A2 by the 17th and 18th Orbital Defense Teams, managing to discourage an invasion attempt by hostile raiders. Both sides suffered heavy losses, with the 18th Orbital Defense Team losing all of their WG-7 Lucifer serviced orbit weapons, and the 17th Orbital Defense Team left with just one gun, after the raiders were forced to make a hasty retreat after losing 4 Daril-class and 1 Tekka-class vessel. That is all for this special news report from Terran News Network, voted the most trusted source for news in the Terran Republic. If we're not talking about it, it's not important. Glory to the Republic, and we will see you next time. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Aurora 4X C#. Let me get my timer up. So, the hope for this part is that we will be able to, at the very least, hopefully by the end, have begun moving the fleet. We probably won't actually be entering GL Virginis this part if I had to make a guess. We'll see. But the hope is that at the very least, by the very end, we will have arrived. Or rather, have at least started moving out. Pardon me. One thing I do also want to mention is that I'm not sure if we'll ever build it, but I have designed an intelligence ship. For those of you that remember, I was putting ELINT modules, an ELINT module on our carrier back in the day. We stopped doing that because it just wasn't really worth it. It is, 500 tons of weight that was basically doing nothing because our passive sensors are significantly longer range than our ELINT modules, because we haven't really kept up the ELINT module research. But technically the ELINT module could be helpful. Or at least, provide some helpful information. But the big thing is that we kind of need to get it to a place where it's actually relevant. And that's kind of the problem. Is it's just not relevant at all. At least, as things stand right now. Okay, we have our refits chugging along. We've completed the construction of our recon wing, which is wonderful. Detach you guys. Fleet. Carrier Strike Group 1. Land and join VP1. Now, one thing I don't think the game actually provides in terms of information is how much of your crew, or rather, excuse me, of the hangar space is available. Like, I know this is what it's supposed to be, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what I have. Okay, this is where the game shows it to me, but it doesn't... The thing is that the game doesn't tell me here the information I'm specifically looking for, which is how much of my space am I using up? And how much is still left over? But it looks like I had enough to get them all, which is wonderful. Okay, so now we just keep waiting for the shipyards to finish all their refits, which is going to take a little bit of time. But luckily, they're not super expensive refits, so it shouldn't take too long. And realistically, the refits are about the only thing that we're waiting on. Beyond that, we're good to go. Okay, slipway's done. You are the fighters. So, auto refit there. Add another slipway. You add another slipway. And you auto refit those. We don't have that many of the fighters, so it shouldn't take too... Oh, okay, and something has popped up in Lalande. It is a Tekka. Question is, are you going to actually approach? Oh, and we got something in Saiseti too. Okay, that's fun. Okay, Saiseti. Oh, nope. I need the mineral group. Where are you guys currently in your rotation? You are currently on the last leg before you head back to Seoul. Okay. Oops, I already had this open. Go here, grab the escorts. Detach, contacts, move to engage, 200,000 kilometers. Now, thing is, annoyingly, we have to manage both of these. So we have a Tekka moving in on Lalande, which actually, what's the distance between here? That's what, like 87, I think it said? It was a little hard to read. Yeah, 87. You are at 64. Outside of the fact that the Saiseti fleet is sort of moving into the merge, for lack of a better way to describe it. In theory, Lalande should arrive first, especially because this guy should fly off. Okay. Auto assign fire controls. Why do you guys have miss? Oh, shit. I think you guys... I forgot to tell you not to carry missiles because you don't need them. Yeah, you guys are kind of just grabbing missiles and loading them up, saying, why do we need missiles? We don't have any, launchers. They're like, hey, command said to load up the missiles, so that's what we're gonna do. Like, okay, sure, fine, I guess. Yeah, we're gonna have to correct that when the opportunity arises. Because, yeah, you guys don't actually have a way of launching those missiles that you're carrying. Okay, now we apparently still don't have a active lock. Okay, he's running off. Do we still not have an active lock? No, we still don't have an active lock. Oops, wrong one. Lalande. Look back at Saiseti. You guys should get a active lock by the time he enters mid-range sensors. Also, you're not the new ones, are you? No, you are still the old ones. I need to send you back to Earth for a refit. I think we'll have you do that after you chase this guy off. Because we should be safe for a little bit. Shit, we lost him. Okay, guess we're gonna head back to the Saiseti Mineral Group. Lalande closes in. Probably could have done one more 30-second, but I didn't want to accidentally let him close too much before we fire. And he got a shot off. Which actually sucks, because I think we did lose one. Oh no. Let's see. Okay, yeah, no. We did get hit. It did penetrate the armor. But we did not actually lose one. Wonderful. Let's head back to Saiseti. Well, you know what? I guess I can probably just kick back to 5-day. Up and found him again. So of course he decides to come back now. Let's try this again. Okay. He's just going to keep doing that. I think we're going to ignore him until he actually closes with us. Because he's clearly shutting off his engines or something. You know, he's just sort of going into a holding, or at least kicking his speed down enough to where we're not picking him up on passives anymore. So what is... It was a Tekka. What's the engine on a Tekka again, if we know? 156. So our passives are... I don't know what the fuck our passives are coming from, admittedly. Also, why do you guys have such crappy passives? Holy... Are they supposed to be that bad? Because I don't think they're supposed to be that bad. Oh, well, then again, this is against 100 that I am doing the comparison against, which, yeah, is not that great. So never mind. Yeah, that's our problem. We don't have particularly great passives, at least, you know, compared to our actives. And Saiseti only has the one deep space tracking station. I might want to give it a second one, because we are mining at Saiseti A1. And while it should always be within, we're not exactly going to have a lot of reaction time. So I think we are going to actually plop down a second deep space tracking station. On Syseti A2. Because I think just the one is not quite good enough. Turn that off, because that is just a giant mess. And you are actually going to detach. You're going to fly to Earth. You are going to... well, let's update your class template. I'm actually going to tell you to go ahead and do the refit anyway. But I don't know why you guys are still carrying. And I don't, for some reason, seem to have an option for unload, which is weird. That I don't have an option to tell you to unload the ordnance. But whatever. I want you to fly out. You need to do a refit. And you know what? We're gonna just let side. You know what? Actually, no. We're just gonna let Syseti rest. We're gonna let Syseti rest. Oh, okay. You actually. I think I should have probably detected you much sooner. Because the Charog is 2,500. So I don't think it's like exactly linear. But 612 million kilometers on passives against 1,000. I really feel like we probably should have detected you much sooner. I'm shocked that we didn't. Quick reaction force 2. Got a job for you. Same old job. Your job has not changed, and your job will not change. See, you were estimating 12 hours. Okay. Something is hitting civilian shipping out in Capitan's Star. Which sucks because I can't do anything about that. It's way too far away for me to be able to do anything about it. So that's gonna be... whatever. Which one are you heading to? You are heading... in to Epsilon Indy. You are a Henschel. You are a small F7. You are 005. You were transporting luxury food. To side... What? Oh, no, you are outbound. As in, you're heading back to Seoul. Okay. See, the confusion for me is that heading to Epsilon Indy, for whatever reason, the jump point to go to Epsilon Indy is off to the right here, while the jump point to head towards Seoul is off to the left. But when you look at, the galactic map layout that we have, to the right is Seoul, and to the left is Epsilon Indy. So, just your average confusion. But yeah, so I can't do anything about you, buddy. You're gonna die. I'm sorry about that. And I don't have any way of saving you. Because it is far too far away. Why do I feel like you guys don't have some of your stuff assigned? Oh, no, never mind. It's because our missiles are still... We haven't improved our missiles. Never mind. That would be why. Oh shit, we picked up the dude in Saiseti again. Well, at least for a second. But he's gone again. Picked up Saiseti again. Are you gonna actually approach this time? Looks like that answers that question. Actually, speaking of, if I do upgrade the missiles, do I need to do another minor refit so that we can improve the range? No, our missiles are 100 and... Or, well, rather, our missile fire control is 177.8 million kilometers, so... No, we don't need to worry about that, because the missiles we would be upgrading to are currently still designed for 46, although I will probably change that, and thus these will be a brand new missile design. I think we'll probably just go for a 100, if I had to make a guess. How would that look? Not a lot faster than our current ones, at least with current tech. Because our current ones are 75. But, it is over double the range. And that's not taking into account some other improvements that we can achieve, such as efficiency improvements by switching to tricobalt. Once that's researched, that's an extra like 4,000 kilometers a second speed. Well, 3,000 actually. We are researching the better power plant. It's another 2,000, so both of those together would get us to 89. Which is fine, because the reality is I don't need a missile that's 100,000 kilometers of speed. I really don't. It's going to close the distance fast enough anyway. How are we doing on Sol? We are still closing into the active sensor range. Still waiting for this guy to finish his approach. Or not? Is he picking up a civilian? No, he's just deciding to piss off for some reason. Okay. Let's go. There we go. We can do 5. Quick reaction. 2. Set your orders. Engage the Tekka first. I know game. Saiseti's doing his thing again. Is he going to continue coming in this time? Looks like the answer is yes. Saiseti again. Okay, still coming in. Now we need to be careful because we don't want to accidentally have them, jumping on top of us. So we're going to go to 30-second increments now. Well, how's our refits doing? We still working on those? Yes, did we recently finish something? Because this guy's not moving. Saiseti. Still waiting. Five-second increments. Oh, what was that in Saiseti? Oh, we picked up a drill in Saiseti. Okay. Quick reaction force 2. Looks like you're heading out to Saiseti because, as it turns out, there is something dangerous out there. I don't know where it was because I didn't realize we picked it up until after I'd clicked go to the next tick. The question for me is if those guys are in the same group. Move to engage the Yaic. Yaic goes down very quickly, as we know. Now we spend a while engaging the Charug. God, those railguns are very prone to maintenance issues. Technically, we could close further with the Charug so that we could... Oh, we had a secondary explosion there. Interesting. But yeah, theoretically, we could close further just to have more accurate fire. There's really not a reason to do that. Yeah, quick reaction force 1 is going to take forever to get out there. Oh, excuse me, not Pi Libre, Siseti. Now, thing is, if there's a bunch of drills there, which it looks like there's at least 2 somewhere here in Siseti that we were picking up. I just don't know if they're with the Tekka or if they're a separate group somewhere else. Because if they're part of the Tekka here, while I expect that we might come out on top in the end, we are going to take losses, guaranteed. But if they are separate, we should have no problems. Also, I don't know what this Tekka is doing, but it's flying past Siseti A2. Which is an interesting thing, because it would seem to imply then that it might be heading for A1. Then I don't know what that heading is about, because I don't think that's going to take you to A1. Also, there's no Charug here, because we would definitely be picking that up on passives. And the drills are not troop transports. They are way too small to be that, and they have a military engine type. The Charug and the Siege are the two obvious, well, and the Gatas are the two three obvious things for a troop transport. They are very large. Not so much the Siege, but definitely the Charug and Gatas. I don't know what the hell is with the Siege, because it is way too small to be a troop transport. At least if it's transporting any serious amount of troops, unless the plan is for this to be like a light troop transport that just you build a swarm of these and send them in, as opposed to building something that's like twice the size and can carry probably a significantly more number, can carry significantly more troops. Okay, we're going to go and switch to 5-day increments. Okay, you sped up because your thermal has increased, and I'm not sure I like that. And it's definitely looking like you might be heading for A1. Are we gonna have to fucking invade A1? I mean, we shouldn't. Again, they don't have a troop transport as far as we're picking up on passives. I need to get a orbital defense team. Well, I don't really need to build 2 more, because Earth doesn't... Well, I guess it helps for Earth to have some on the off chance that the fleet is off on an expedition and the quick reaction forces are busy, well, doing their thing. But are you actually heading for A1? Because that makes 0 fucking sense. If you are heading for A1, it's looking like you are, and I don't know why. I legitimately have no clue why. Okay, and you disappeared. And you should still be getting picked up on passives, presumably. Yeah, you're heading for A1, and I don't know why. Okay, now you're pissing off. You're realizing, oh, there's nothing here, except for some automated mines. Now you're flying back, it looks like, to A2. Maybe. Your heading still doesn't quite look right. No, damn it, game. Yeah, your heading still doesn't quite look right for going for A2. So are you not going for A2 either? Are you just gonna ping pong between the two? Because that's the vibe I'm getting, based off what I'm seeing right now, is that you might choose to ping pong between the two because you... Oh no, you definitely look like you're heading for A2 now. Oh yeah, no, you're definitely heading for A2. Which is great. Because then I can get rid of you. Wonderful. You guys don't need to do your orders anymore. Head back to Earth, refuel, resupply. Okay, never mind. I lied. Turns out I do still need you because there's a shit ton of Darills still flying around, and at least now I realize they're definitely not part of the same group. Okay, that is an invasion fleet. Not... Well, I say invasion fleet. That's not strictly true. Again, we're not picking up, uh, the troop transports, which we probably should be if they are there. But whatever the hell these things are, they are... There's a lot of them. Whatever they are. You did not... Oh, you're still resupplying. Jesus. How much longer until you finish resupplying? God damn. Oh, I could have sworn you guys already arrived. Apparently not. Why the hell... If you guys didn't arrive, why is your fuel... Why is your fuel still at 100%? There's no way you guys magically made that trip out to here and back without using any fuel whatsoever. Okay, but yes, there is an invasion fleet heading for Size City. And unfortunately, I can't bring the fleet out because we're kind of busy still doing refits for our fighters. And until those are finished, I can't move the fleet unless I leave the carrier behind, which I could do. I could temporarily leave the Akagi behind and just use the rest of the fleet, which is probably not the worst idea ever, all things considered. Well, we're definitely not going to be getting the invasion into Geo Virginis done this part, and probably not next part if this is anything to go by. Yeah, we're going to detach the Akagi. It's going to stay in Earth orbit. And the rest of the carrier strike group is going to make a move. To Saiseti. They won't get there in time. That is for damn sure. There's no way in hell they arrive in time. Unless these guys, for some reason, decide to turn around, which sure as hell ain't happening. But the thing I want to know is, are there troop transports here? So far, the answer seems to be no, because we're not picking them up, and commercial vessels are notorious for having, well, rather, anything that uses commercial engines is notorious for having very high thermal signatures. You know, again, compare these things. You know, we got the Siege here with a signature of 1,250. The Drill has a thermal signature of 312. Granted, I don't know, that 312 doesn't quite seem accurate, because I think that's just because it tends to be in an escort role with troop transports, but we're not finding any. Now the question is, are you heading for A2 or A1? Because if you bypass A1 entirely, then that gives me a bit more time, but I don't think you're doing that. But we're going to take very heavy losses. I do have my guys set to engage the largest ship, because the thought process there is that the largest ship will be the troop transports. And I'd rather you engage the troop transports, because if I can prevent them from being able to land their troops in the first place, I'm happy. So in this case, you will engage the Drills first. And I don't know if we have enough firepower to actually destroy a Drill or not with our STOs. As a reminder, we have 40 guns firing. But I don't think we've engaged a Drill with railguns in the past, because we don't have concrete information. We have a vague, probably 150,000 kilometer range, but that's not necessarily the case. That's largely based off the Tekka having a range that's basically 150,000, just because of the way the math works. But again, we don't technically know with certainty on that. But we're going to get orbital bombarded. Now, what I would love to have happen is what happens with the Tekkas. We fire at them once or twice, and they say, screw this noise, and they turn away. And hopefully we can repeat that process enough that either A, we destroy them, or at least it's enough for our fleets to arrive. Only one penetrating hit. Oof. 17th Orbital Defense Team lost nothing. 18th, however, lost 3. We lost 4,000 civilians and a little bit of infrastructure. Okay, we destroyed 1 drill. They fire back. We lose 6 more of our STOs and 6,000 more civilians. Also, for a planet that has a population of 189.76 million, only losing 6,000 is, you know what? Not too bad. Another drill gone. They fire. Significantly more accurate as they close. 14,000 civilians. Oh, no, more than that, actually. 48, 40, 16, 14. Lots of infrastructure. We have 19 remaining orbital defense teams. I don't think that's going to be enough to destroy. Yeah, I don't think that'll be enough to destroy the last... Oh, okay, they're pissing off. They realized, oh wait, we don't have troop transports. But we're gonna have to replace these guys. I think what we're gonna end up doing is we're just gonna scrap them. The ones being built on Earth right now are gonna get shipped off here. The ones that are currently in progress are gonna go to A2, and then the ones that we queued up previously are gonna go for A1. And we are just gonna scrap the guys that are currently here at A2. We're still firing at them as they run. But of course, they're firing back. We are now down to 8. Can we get that last drill? Well, we damaged it. It broke off from the rest of the fleet. That could be good or bad. Because that means the Tekkas and EX are going to be coming back. Still got 8 guns. Finish the drill. Got 4 guns. Finish the drill. 2 guns. Finish the drill. We have 1 left. Oh, and I think we disabled their weapons with that. With one of those last salvos. Holy shit. Okay. So in a surprise, our orbital defense teams managed to, yeah. They managed to just barely eke out a Pyrrhic victory. We currently have the rest of the enemy fleet on the run. I say that semi-seriously because they are probably going to turn around and they will destroy the last one. And the fleet is still nowhere in sight. Which is not a surprise, of course. Because, you know, 9,442 kilometers a second sounds really fast until you remember the distance between Earth. Let me, hide this. There's Earth. The distance between Earth and the Sai Ceti jump point is 5.8 1.87 billion kilometers. So, it seems close. Or rather, it seems fast. But it really isn't in the grand scheme of things. We'll do a 5-day increment so that they piss off. You guys need to have an opportunity to relax. We're going to have that quick reaction force hang out around there for a bit. Do I still want the fleet to head out, though, is the question. Because I'm going to say no, I don't want the fleet to head out. The reason being that with the drills gone, we can somewhat comfortably believe that we can take care of them, especially making use of missiles. Our issue is going to be that we don't have enough maintenance supply points on our cruisers and destroyers to be able to actually use guns to finish off all of those enemies. We just don't. It will require far, far too many missiles. Okay, Quick Reaction Force 1 has arrived. They're going to hang out here for a bit. Just to, continue deterring the enemy. We'll use this opportunity of knowing that there's an enemy fleet out there to refit the Saiseti escorts. Yards. DE a point. Refit. Okay, put the Akagi back in the fleet here. Wait for those orders to all finish. Salvage fleet finished out here. Wonderful. Unload all ship components and unload all minerals. Yeah, scrap it all. That's a magnetic fusion drive. That's ancient. And now we just wait. Refits finishing. We have 6. I believe it is. Well, excuse me, it's actually 7 for the normal fighters. Oh, okay. Wonderful. So this would be wrapping up all of the strike fighters. Okay, yes. So the strike fighters will be wrapping up shortly. Now we just gotta wait for the regular fighters. There's our Tricobalt warheads. I accidentally closed out of that app. That's fine, I can update it later. We're going to go ahead and dump somebody into our ELINT module. And we're going to research better cloaking devices. Support items, you still have 9 more of the F3s. Six at a time right now, so it's going to be at least one more cycle, which means like a month, roughly. Because it seems to be taking about a month to do the refits. Okay, that is the minimum cloak size, at least in terms of HS. But the main thing I really care more for is the efficiency. And sensor reduction. Both of these are very useful, although granted they also benefit in conjunction with cloak size, because we pull this up and go to our cloaking device. This is the max size ship that can be cloaked with this existing design. As you can see, a cloak efficiency 3 only allows 3,750 tons, while a cloak efficiency 4 allows 5,000. So, and then cloaking device size further influences that, but it also, of course, influences the size of the actual cloaking device itself. The current one we have designed is this. It's 1,500 tons for a 6,000 ton ship. If I could improve our efficiency, it would enable me to be able to achieve that with a smaller cloaking device. And of course, getting cloaker sense reduction will affect how much it actually decreases the cross-section of the ship. So, all three are important in their own ways. So let's get the actual, sensor reduction improved further. I'll probably let this part run a bit long, try to, get the refits all done. Okay, now you're refitting the VF3 Tigers, the ones that are not actually part of the strike group. Which is fine. We need those to be done eventually anyway. Especially whenever I get around to building a second carrier. But that's way out there right now. No immediate rush. A bunch of people gaining experience. Okay, and I believe that should be, yes, that should be the last of our refits. And there's our max tracking time for bonus versus missiles, up to 200 seconds. For, I guess, a 40% bonus. Improve turret tracking speed, construction rate. Wonderful. Oh, Lalande. Let's see. Nope, okay. Just checking to see if you had an option for this, but again, I don't apparently have an option to unload the ordnance, which is just strange to me. Why would there not be an option to unload ordnance? Maybe it's just me, but that doesn't make any sense. Is it just a case of because I don't have an ordnance transfer system on it, I'm not allowed to unload ordnance? Because maybe it's just me, but that seems kind of silly. To me, it makes no sense that you would be incapable of unloading ordnance. Because if I can't unload ordnance, it begs the question of how am I loading the ordnance in the first place? So there should, any reasonable world, be an option for unloading the ordnance, but apparently there isn't. So I may end up needing to use Space Master to get this, to work. Maybe. That's assuming I can even remove ordnance via Space Master. I actually don't know because I've never tried, because it just seems like something that you wouldn't need to try. But it looks like that might be the case. Probably can do a fill ship with a template of nothing. Maybe? I don't know for certain on that. But yeah, that there's no option here for unload ordnance is just silly to me. But yeah, let's, if I do, I will, if this does what I think it will do, based upon how the template is set up of nothing, what I'm going to end up doing is I will then proceed to, if the game will let me, Space Master into existence. Can I even Space Master into existence the missiles? To replace the fact that no, maybe transfer missiles. What? Oh no, that's to transfer between species. I don't want to transfer between species. I want to unload the ordnance game. But you apparently don't have an option for that, which just seems ridiculous. Will you remove it after a refit? Will you at least be smart enough to do that? I guess we'll find out when the Cysedia escort fleet finishes their orders, but yes, there is apparently not an option to unload ordnance at a location, which, again, the idea of that being the case is just silly to me. Because in what world does it make sense to not have an option to unload ordnance? Especially considering that I do have an option to load. Oh, okay. Okay. I see how it is. So the option does exist, but for some reason you're refusing to show it for anything other. Is it going to be a case of because they technically can't carry ordnance, they don't have an option to unload ordnance? Let's be real here. That is silly. It's not my fault that they still had the ordnance. There should always be an option to unload ordnance, even if they cannot technically carry it. Yeah, so our escorts are going to be running around with missiles that they cannot use, and I cannot remove the missiles because you cannot space master the missiles out of existence, it looks like. Or at least I can't space master them back into existence if I end up needing to, if we were to go that way. There's no option to, instant here like there often is. Like I can instant research, but there's no option to instant complete something like this. There's just no option for that. I would have to straight up rebuild those missiles, and I would literally be losing the resources that were spent on doing that in the first place, which is not something I'm particularly interested in doing. And I can't Space Master in stockpile, so the only other alternative would be to Space Master the total cost of all the missiles, if I was able to remove them, into the quantity field here, give them a ludicrous accessibility of 1, so that we would get them all back relatively quickly, but I still wouldn't instantly get back the mineral cost of deleting the missiles and then rebuilding them. I would come out with, a net of 0 at the end of that if that were to work. But the simpler solution? Just give me a fucking option to unload ordnance and always have it be there if you have missiles, even if you technically shouldn't be allowed to carry the missiles. Because whether or not I should be allowed to carry them, to me, is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, they are carrying them. Therefore, the obvious solution is to give me an option to unload it. And yet that is nowhere to be seen. I mean, maybe it's just me, but that seems like the obvious thing to do. If you're carrying missiles, if you're carrying ordnance, period, even if you don't have a means of firing it, the option to unload ordnance should be there. Because the relevant bit is that you have them. Now, presumably, the bit that is triggering this is the game basically looks to see, do you have launchers? And do you have, do you have launchers or do you have a magazine? If you have one or the other, you can load and unload ordnance. So I could cheat in the option to unload ordnance by using Space Master, unlocking the refit design, adding a single launcher to the design temporarily, issuing the unload ordnance options, unloading the ordnance, removing it. The game will automatically update the designs, even existing designs that were completed, doing that. But that's what I will have to do, and that is, to me, a ridiculous thing. Just give me the fucking option. It is so much easier if you just give me the option. Like, it legitimately is just easier if you just give me the option to unload ordnance. Oh, you guys are the old one? Yeah, you guys are the old ones as well. Well, have you do your refits as well. So let's get this shit fixed. Where the fuck are you going? Pretty sure I told you to do it at Earth. I don't know why the fuck you're flying out to Mars. So that gets us those missiles back. But I still have some I need to remove, so I cannot remove the missile launcher from the menu there. Or, you know, from the design right now. I mean, I could, at least until the next batch is ready to go. But yes, that is, again, the obvious solution is to just freaking give me the option. It really is. The obvious solution is to just give me the fucking option to unload ordnance if I'm carrying it. It is irrelevant to me if I have a launcher or a magazine. If I'm carrying ordnance, the way I see it is the load ordnance option and the replace ordnance option should be limited to checking if you have a launcher or a magazine. But the unload ordnance option should not have that. The check should be if you have ordnance in the first place. And I feel like it probably wouldn't be that hard. I've never programmed in C#. Okay? That's one thing I would know. I've never programmed in C#. So maybe I'm incorrect in this. But to me, it seems like, from my experience in using Java and Python, it should be possible to basically have a variable that says, does this have ordnance on it? Yes or no? If yes, unload ordnance option will be shown. If no, you hide the unload ordnance option. To me, that just seems like the... Now, I realize this is probably an edge case. For me, the issue here was that I designed these missiles, or I designed these escorts by copying our existing destroyer. And it happened to be the destroyer that carries missiles. I removed the launchers, but I forgot to remove the ordnance from the ordnance template. And thus they were loading up missiles that they were incapable of using. So I realize this is an edge case, and it's not really a problem that you would necessarily design around in a usual situation. But it also seems like something that's perfectly avoidable by just changing what the check is for showing an unload ordnance option. Because maybe you designed a ship that's just funky as all hell and has an ordnance transfer system, no magazine, but it still loads up missiles if you copy. And that's the thing. The reality is, another thing that could have been done is that when you copy something, when it comes to missiles and fighters, if you remove the items that are necessary for that item to be actually carried, clear it from here. Just clear it. If I copy our carrier. Now remove all the hangar bays. Just clear all the fighters. To me, that seems like the another obvious thing to do is just clear the fighters. Same with the missiles. Just clear them from here. Because as a general rule of thumb, outside of rare situations, and I mean when you remove all of them, not just a couple. If you remove a couple, don't clear it. But if you remove all of them, it probably means this design was a copy from something that was able to carry those, but this design is not intended to carry those. Therefore, you don't need it. And therefore, it should not attempt to carry them. But that's just me. That's my opinion on how that should go. Our refits are done as far as we are concerned when it comes to the fleet. We still have the VF3 Tigers, but those are a reserve tier, a reserve set of fighters, basically, from when we swapped over to having a strike fighter wing. So next part, we will be flying Carrier Strike Force 1 out to GL Virginis. We will finally avenge our diplomatic ship that totally had a captain who died valiantly. We will come up with a nice fancy name for the operation. I do not have anything off the top of my head, but by the next part there will be, and that will probably be the name of the part, because why not? But yeah, so I will see you all next time. Glory to the Republic, and until then.